Well, here we are. We're getting ready to leave. Blistering -11 down here. Everybody knows Red Bull produces amazing sporting events. So when the invitation came for my brother and I to check out the first Signature Series production of 2015, we stopped everything, packed our bags, and drove north, deep into the woods of Maine. Spanning 8 peaks, 15 chairlifts, and 135 trails over 870 acres, Sunday River is ground zero for Red Bull Frozen Rush. 9 Pro 4 truck drivers who normally compete in sun-scorched areas like the Baja instead mount studded BFGoodrich tires and battle it out on the icy slopes. We unfortunately arrived just in time to see qualifying end early, so we took a selfie. We were too late to watch qualifying, but walked up to the start-finish line and took a look around anyways. It was a torturous -18, and as the wind robbed us of our warmth, we wondered, how could an 800 horsepower trophy truck ever find traction here? We headed over to the BFGoodrich tire tent to find out. So, what goes into preparing these tires for the race tomorrow?
So we start out with a short course tire that we've used in the past. It's race proven. We take that tire, we add the groovy, the base pattern that's molded on the tire, and then we ship it out and have all the studs installed. So each stud is individually individually drilled into the tire, and then the studs are epoxied in. There's over 600 studs per tire.
After learning about the tires, we headed to pit lane. A large group had gathered to meet the drivers and see how these machines work. The cold had relented to -10, and Josh tried to warm up the crowd. Well, tried. Thankfully, things were warmer inside. With the sounds of wrenches turning and the smell of race fuel in the air, we talked with Bryce Menzies, one of 2 Red Bull sponsored drivers. As the reigning Baja 500 champion, we asked him what he thought about Frozen Rush.
Pretty different from Las Vegas. Las Vegas is usually 120. We left home, it was around 60, 70 degrees. We came here and it's -10, so it's definitely a big change. And the thing that we're doing to keep warm in the truck is try to just stay inside as much as possible. We got some heating blankets to keep the truck warm, transmission, the shocks to make sure the truck's working properly. I almost feel there's more traction we have here at Frozen Rush than we do in the dirt. It's pretty wild to feel that in the Pro 4, that it's actually jerking the truck around and we have to drive a lot differently, and it's pretty intense what we're feeling inside the truck compared to what we feel in dirt. So I think that's what's challenging all these drivers, and it's really going to play a part in tomorrow's race.
With activity in the pits winding down, Red Bull wanted to give us a taste of what the drivers experience on the track. Thankfully, the party truck was here to give us a lift. It's an International MXT. It's also Red Bull's Northeast mobile entertainment machine and one of 9 in the country. During the ride, we talked to Kevin, whose job could only be described as truck driver / DJ.
Yeah, I've done Frozen Rush since the beginning. So we started at Mount Snow with just Ricky. It was kind of like a big test to see if it was actually going to work. And then when we figured out it was going to work, we were like, we wanted to do it at Mount Snow, but there were some legal issues, so we came up here. So it's been the past 2 years with Sunday River.
So did you guys court Sunday River, or was it kind of like a joint
relationship here?
Yeah.
We used to do Dumont Cup, which we still do, but Dumont Cup's been happening for 5 years. We've done the world record quarter pipe jump that Dumont also did here. So I mean, they're a good partner of ours.
So when you couldn't do it at Mount Snow,
Yep.
This was the next logical.
Yeah, because well, we look at it, we're like, how many people are going to show up? How many people are going to want to stay here?
Yeah.
So Mount Snow doesn't have too much lodging around it. This place is, you know, a full-blown resort.
Yeah, they've really got it.
I think tomorrow we're forecasting 15,000.
This is a two-wheel drive Pro 2 race truck. Tomorrow, four-wheel drive Pro 4 trucks will race. And this is Luke Johnson, son of Frozen Rush pioneer Ricky Johnson. He was there to give us a few hot laps. While we waited, Traxxas RC cars whizzed around the parking lot to keep our mind off the cold. Thankfully, the RC guys weren't driving the real thing. Josh volunteered to be the one who would strip off his warm clothes, jump into a non-heated race truck, and go for a ride. Shivering uses a lot of energy. So after a few laps, we headed out to dinner with a few Frozen Rush drivers, including Ricky Johnson and Bryce Menzies. Rally legend Andrew Comrie-Picard tagged along for conversation. After a few drinks, we learned just how Frozen Rush came to be.
A lot of people are giving me the credit for the idea, and it wasn't my idea. I was just the nut behind the wheel and the monkey shot into space that they said, you want to try it? It was like Step Brothers. Yep. Do you want to race with a bunch of guys down the hill? Yep, let's do it. So that's pretty much how it came about. But Peter Brinkerhoff approached me and said, what do you think about it? So Steve Menzies was kind enough to say, here, Rick, take your race truck and go to Sierra Tahoe. And so then we talked to Peter and Nate and everybody at BFGoodrich. They came together with a tire that was built in Sweden, because that's where a lot of ice racing is done, and, you know, for rally cars and stuff like that. And then took it to the next level with the spikes that big. I've never seen a race car with spikes that big. You use like
those are huge. They're special.
Right. So then I thought, well, it'd be great. I could go there, and I looked at it. It was a freshly groomed hill. I thought, I want to try with just the regular tires. It's going to be fun. And Peter was there. Peter knows about it. I went about 5 feet off the skid pad, went right to the chassis, and it just kept melting and started going down deeper and deeper and deeper. So we pulled it out with the snowcat, put the ice spikes on, and then we went out. So you see, when you see those original photos with the snow flying over the top, that's not CG. That's not you know, Adobe or anything like that. That's all real stuff. We were floating around through the snow because we wanted to see if it was going to look stupid. Because what we didn't want to do is come up here and drive around and look slow and all that. So it looked pretty cool. Then we went to Mount Snow 2 years ago, and that's when we all came up, and they let me design a track, which was, I have to tell you, it's a bucket list. I got to give it to you that. And so on Valentine's Day, we went out that morning, and I did an exhibition. So, but I had the pressure of everyone saying, okay, go fast to make it look good. Don't crash. Don't make a mistake, or you're going to end this sport and it'll never happen in the first place. But once again, go fast and make it look cool. So I got to go run around the hill all by myself and do all that. Once they said, hey, this looks really cool, what do you think about going and inviting the best short course off-road racers and racing? Yep, let's do it.
The next morning, we woke to temperatures above zero and fresh snow. It couldn't get any better. As we walked into the resort, it was clear the crowd was huge. With as much free Red Bull as we could carry, we walked up the slopes and settled in. This was to be an epic shootout, and we were stoked. After learning about the tires, seeing all the fans, talking to the drivers, and drooling over the trucks, it was finally time to see what we had come for. Red Bull Frozen Rush 2015.
We think it's cool.
It was an unforgettable afternoon. Bryce Menzies came out on top and won this year's Frozen Rush. The crowd went wild. After standing in place for 6 hours, our legs were cramped and our bodies chilled. We walked down the mountain and grabbed one last Red Bull. It was time to go home. If you ever get the opportunity to see Red Bull Frozen Rush in Maine or maybe somewhere else in the future, there is no debate. You should go. Here's Bryce Menzies to tell you why.
You know, I've done a lot of racing throughout my career, and by far this is one of the funnest events I've been a part of. It's something that you can't even explain or see on TV. It's so different here. So if you have a chance, come check it out next year. Hopefully we'll be back here in Maine, Sunday River, and we'll be tearing up the snow tomorrow.